Hey, folks. Welcome to Off the Ropes. Today's special intro would have been something comical as usual for between me and over here my copy and faded saint. But this specific one is more of a because of the fact that we lost another, I would say, god in the wrestling factors here. Big Daddy Vader passed away just a little after while we were setting up for this progress that we were going to do for the our monthly schedule for our takes on the pay-per-views. He died last week, and this is a moment we just wanted to reflect about how awesome he was doing before he passed, because he was told a while ago that he pretty much didn't have much to live because he had a heart condition, and he had literally one option, and he took it, and he went to the nines to make that work. He lost a lot of weight. He got back in shape, and he was told that he was on his way out of that kick out. And guess it didn't take, and in this case, he finally is in the squared circle in the sky with the other legends, and we wanted to take this moment here to pretty much say we're going to miss him. And Vader, it's no longer Vader time, but here we are, and we're going to pass that torch continuing.
It's always Vader time, time on Off the Ropes. We're going to miss you, big man.
In the meantime, as you know, I am Kane Super What Snooker, and that's my man over there, Kami the Faded Saints, and this is Off the Ropes. Welcome back to Off the Ropes, everybody. My name is Kane Super What Snooker, and I got my man over there, Kami the Faded Saint. And we want to apologize in advance about Backlash, but we just felt it was so unnecessary that we decided to, like, hey, you know what, we're just going to mash it up with the more important stuff that's coming up in the future, which is right now Takeover and also Money in the Bank. And I have to say, before you can, I know you're trying to put out something here, but before you say anything, I feel like the only real reason we're really going to talk about Backlash is because we also have news, of course, about Big Cass, which we'll gladly go over after we talk about Money in the Bank. But other than that, this is going to be one interesting talk setup, because we're going to do this with great prestige on what's going on with NXT, what's happening with Money in the Bank, why Backlash failed horribly, and so forth. But my man, Kami, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing much better than I was last month, which I feel like I should address a little bit as to the reasons we didn't do Backlash. Number one, I talked to you about this. I was so freaking burned out after WrestleMania, and then Backlash just served to really just royally piss me off. Like it just uninspired booking, like literally nothing changed, and it was just so fucking aggravating. Like,
it was definitely misplaced.
I mean, they could have done so much with it, but I mean, it was shit. And then, I mean, to give you guys an idea of how just absolutely done I was after Backlash, I came about a button's press away from canceling my subscription to the network. Oof. Like, really, I had just had it.
It definitely made this talk show a lot harder, I'll give you that.
Yeah, it would have. But, I mean, you know, I actually this last Monday night was the first actual live television show that I've watched since the SmackDown I went to, and I was in attendance live. I actually haven't watched any of the Raws live, any of the SmackDowns live. I've really only caught like the clips on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But surprisingly, this weekend was good for wrestling, and it didn't make me angry to live, although some of it did. And Backlash, to be quite honest, it was not worth your time. It wasn't even worth our time. And I know we make the joke very often that we have to do this because it is our thing. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to it. I was just too done with the product at that point. And that's the Backlash happened. Nothing changed as a result of Backlash. It happened, and
well, folks, if we also what's going on recently also besides that is that we're looking for a new direction to help Off the Ropes. Me and Kami over here have had some discussion about what we're planning to do, and it's still in the method of what we're going to get done for you here. I know that there are some people that really do enjoy listening to us, and we want to make sure that you get some content that isn't just continuously a rapture of just festering crap that a lot of times the WWE has produced for you. So, omission of Backlash, yes, it was a little bit on the situation that Faded Saint was just not to it, and I get it because some people just lose their smile. But, it's just going to happen. It's going to continue and happen. And it didn't. And full disclosure, everyone here, NXT Takeover is going to be another wonderful episode of Chris Explains It Too. So Faded Saint gets to explain to me what happened on the Takeover because of another thing that happened to me, unfortunately. My grandfather passed away. Now, it's not Pappy Snuka. So he's still around, but in this case, it was my, I would say, a really good person. I would say in my life, it really was. He was my wife's grandfather, but I've been with him since I've been with Kathleen. That's got to go over 13 years now. So I know I haven't really introduced or discussed. In this case, Mrs. Snuka, but she requests sometimes that I don't discuss a lot of things about this, but I feel like I need to talk about how the fact that the reason why I didn't get to watch NXT TakeOver and barely got to see Money in the Bank, and I mean barely, I had to watch it the day after it was aired, is because I was making sure I took care of myself and my wife for this unfortunate and really excruciating experience, because it was he was a great man to me. He was a great person altogether, and it still hurts me now to even talk about it, and I don't know what to say anymore. But besides the fact that he is now at peace, and I get to live on knowing that he was somebody important to me in my life, and I think that's all I could really say about him without getting into details over this show. And also bringing down the house, because we really do want to talk about what's going on here. And you know what? I'm going to enjoy the fact that I'm going to be told how much it sucked or how much it was awesome about NXT, because you know how Kami has a very colorful way of explaining what he likes about matches and not. So it's going to be a fun show today.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a real fun show. And, of course, we have to talk. That means I now get to get into NXT TakeOver Chicago Part 2. Now, first of all, Mauro Ranallo had a previous engagement, so we did not get him. We had Vic Joseph. We had Vic Joseph from 205 Live take over, and I have to say, Vic. What the
hell's a prior engagement, though? Let's before we get there.
Let's actually take a step back here. Have you seen the Showtime documentary Bipolar Rock and Roller?
No.
It's all about Mauro Ranallo, and it's tough to get through.
Really?
I mean, it is. There's a lot. I find out a lot of
dankness about JBL bullying and all that stuff in that thing.
No. No, I mean, he's very forthcoming and honest that what happened had nothing to do with JBL. Wow. That he had a meltdown, and just without. We'll get to the wrestling in a second, but did you know that in his 20s, Mauro Ranallo was hospitalized with mental illness 9 or 10 times.
Mamma mia.
Like, actually, like, could not leave the hospital because they thought he was going to hurt himself.
Jeez,
and
it out. And
you know, he works for Showtime. He works for the WWE. That meltdown he had, he was ready to quit it all. And both Showtime and WWE is like, no, we will find something for you to do. We will find a way to make this work. And they have. And, you know, sometimes the engagements overlap. So we got Vic Joseph, who is indirectly responsible for No Class not having a job anymore. We will get into that later.
Interesting.
So, did I send you that article? Did I send that?
No,
article? I thought I did.
I feel like I'm having a huge revelation here. I get told we get a different announcer. Now he's gone?
Well, you know, No Class wasn't gone. We know No Class isn't gone, but we'll get to that in a second. Anyway, NXT TakeOver Chicago Part 2. 5 matches, and starting off, we had the Undisputed Era, Beaker and your sister's worst boyfriend versus Birch and Lorcan. I don't know what their first names is. It doesn't really matter. This match was fucking fire. Like, I had my doubts about, because O'Reilly, Beaker and Hipster Dad have a very, you know, specific dynamic, and they work together. They were together in Ring of Honor. They were together in Japan. They flipped Roddy at the last takeover so that they could, they could make this happen, and they did not disappoint. This was a back and forth match. There was a
was this the people that came out after WrestleMania? The Machinists, whatever they were called, or
no. This is Oni Lorcan. Okay. And
okay.
Birch, who are like Pete Dunne's friends.
Gotcha. Nope, makes sense.
And
I really need to enjoy this pay-per-view. I'm gonna definitely watch it when we're done talking about this stuff.
Like, it was spots after spots. There was a lot of false finishes, and I don't know how to get into it because it was surprising because I expected this to be a disaster. Because I mean, like, I didn't know how they were going to mesh together. But Lorcan and Birch came, and if you don't believe that these guys are going to be a top tier tag team because they don't have like the flash of your Undisputed Eras, or they don't have the gimmick like your War Machine or Heavy Machinery, or, you know, Sanity or something like that, which Sanity finally fucking shut up on SmackDown this last week. Thank fucking God. But
they must have won that copyright issue they were having.
Possibly. But I mean, it was a great match. Unfortunately, or rightfully, in my opinion, in the end, your winners, the Undisputed Era. And I cannot hype this match enough. This was a great match. It was well worth the price of admission. Mm-hmm. And really, you have to see it to believe it. And speaking of seeing it to believe it, the next match, Velveteen Dream versus Ricochet. This is the only match I actually paid attention to any of the backstory coming up, because that whole anything you can do, Dream can do better, and then Ricochet doing the jump from the middle of the ring.
Oh yeah, I saw that
in front of him, and he says, "Do it." So first of all, this is why Hulk Hogan on Twitter was all about, like, do you need a manager? I would love to come in and like manage you, kind of deal. It was kind of a joke, but it kind of wasn't, because when Dream came out, he was like in full on Hulk Hogan garb. Like the red and yellow whole way, and Ricochet
with the feathers,
with the do-rag, and it was back and forth. And for those of you who are sleeping on Velveteen Dream, he did a lot of shit. Like, you know, he did a lot of shit that, you know, Ricochet could do. There was a lot of amazing things. It was the battle of trying to get their finishers off and stealing each other's finishes and just going back and forth. There was a point in time where freaking Ricochet jumped nearly 3/4 of the length of the ring with a shooting fucking star press to try and get Dream. Like, coast to coast shooting star press. Can you imagine that? Back and forth. It really could have gone either way. And while I understand why we got the ending we did. It makes me worry. Because there was really only one way this was ever going to end, and that was with the King Ricochet showing that he's money. But we're starting to have
right?
But we are starting to have a disturbing trend with Dream. I like Dream. I like the gimmick. The dude is skilled. He was a part of one of the 5-star matches at NXT Takeover New Orleans, which I got to see live, which was the only WWE event ever to have 2 5-star matches on the same card. And here's the thing, though. He's kind of got Dillingeritis.
Uh-oh.
Because he never wins that big match. Three pay-per-views now. Three pay-per-views now, and he hasn't won the big match.
But you know what? He's got. I think he's got a little bit better. I think he's got a almost like not the itis itself, but he definitely has the carrier gene to make it a better, like in a way that is where he has a carrier gene for it, but it's not full. It's not full-fledged because every match he does just makes him one step better than everything he's done. And
I agree.
It just makes it so delicious that it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. That's just, I feel like he's the perfect, you want to go and then prove yourself, and then makes that guy look like $1 million and makes him look like $10 million, no matter what. And that's how I feel about his matches. His interactions at that 6-man ladder match for the North American title at the last Takeover was disgustingly good. And his match before that with Aleister Black, where he said, "You will know my name," was disgustingly good. And I feel like this match, when I'm going to watch it, is going to be just as equally disgustingly good.
Pause for a second. Didn't he have a match with Cassius Ohno at one of the takeovers? Did he win or lose that match?
I don't know. I don't.
He won that match.
I thought his first pay-per-view debut was with Aleister Black.
It was, but I want to say he had a takeover where he did Cassius Ohno. You see, now I have to look at this because this kind of because I remember because it was hyped up that he said he was going to knock Ohno out in 30 seconds. And it didn't happen.
I think it was just a regular takeover match. I don't think it was a pay-per-view.
Okay, I've got to see this. Hold on. Nope, it was at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. But who won? No, Dream did win. Dream did win, but he won against Cassius Ohno.
Okay.
This
is like a light version of him, by the way, then, because this was, if you look at the outfit and attire he was wearing at that pay-per-view, he looked like a weird purple boxer.
Yeah.
This was in June.
I do appreciate that he dresses up for the occasion, that he doesn't have like the same ring gear. Like for Aleister Black, he had like the throwback to Rick Rude.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the Rick Rude thing. I have to see his attire from this last pay-per-view, but it's kind of like something that affects the person he's going to fight. It's kind of like an imprint of the match. So yeah, that's just it. And you know what? Even if he lost like he is, and I know that I'm walking into watching this knowing that every match is going to be the way it is. What I like about NXT, and especially with WWE, you need to listen to your own damn product. I know the results. I still want to watch it. When I know results about Money in the Bank and I don't watch Money in the Bank, I'm not going to watch it because I don't care. Because a lot of times the story doesn't matter to me more than just the results. Where these guys in NXT are making stories happen in the match while it's happening. I rewatched the match between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano like 15 times because the story in that match was delicious. It was savory. Even though I know Gargano wins every time, it makes you almost misbelieve that Tommaso Ciampa is going to win, even though you watched it for the 16th time, the 17th time, the 18th time. NXT has a formula that makes you believe in the fact that it may not end the way you think it's going to happen. because they wrestle their asses off. They show technicality. They provide good wrestling with good story. And yes, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that when it comes to NXT, it is taped. It's pre-recorded, so they have the chance to edit out the bad stuff and all the stuff you don't get to see. But you know what? They wouldn't go live. They wouldn't go live with these pay-per-views if they didn't believe in their product and the people that are running it. So I'll take a few mistakes here and there for badassery that they've been doing on the WWE. That's my take on it. And I heard that the next match was It
was definitely the weakest match on the entire card, but I'm willing to cop to maybe being a little biased, and that is of course Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross. But I will surprise you because this match was not the weakest match because of the reason that you think. It was not the weakest match because Shayna Baszler really has been put in the position that she is because she has special power. Ronda Rousey's friend, tap card to get title, tap card to get push. Power does not work if Ronda Rousey is on the same roster as you. Yeah. The problem is that the way they've booked Nikki Cross. At no point did I ever think Nikki was going to win this match. At no point did I.
I want to know one thing. What is with talent being very hetero-dominant? And follow me on this lead.
Okay.
Sanity goes over. Nikki stays.
See, right? That I don't understand at all.
But out. Before this bullshit, Enzo and Cass, soft, they went and they left Carmella behind.
That I understood a little bit more because Carmella had only been in NXT for about 3 months versus Enzo and Cass, who had been there for a couple of years. So I understood that a little bit. But the product I agree. But there's no fucking excuse for Nikki Cross because Nikki Cross came in at the same time of all of them. Like she did. Yeah, like she came in with them.
I still feel that I feel like that's what they do. They take the men and bring them over, and they leave the one part of the product behind, which is usually the woman. I haven't seen one team where they came in full so far, with the exception of the Shield.
Where the Shield wasn't even a team in NXT. They were put to
tag teams, of course, came over, but factions, right. Yeah.
No, my hope is that they did this blow off so that they can just let her go over and be with Sanity now on SmackDown.
Is Nikki Cross the same Nikki Cross at this pay-per-view match?
Yeah. Came out to the same Sanity remix that she always does. Okay. Like it was no different. And like the whole thing was that she liked the pain and she passed out to the crossbaker. She didn't tap, and that was it. It was over.
They calling it crossbaker?
I don't know what they're calling it.
Crossbaker.
I don't care. I don't care. And then
I was a fan of her in the Whit Mae Young Classic too. I really wanted her to win.
No, I know because we got into that huge argument over the finale about who was better.
I don't appreciate pushing, and this is definitely a push, like unnecessary push. This is like Roman Reigns level.
See,
pushing.
but here's the problem. She might be good. She might be really good. Like they need to keep her off of the mic. They need to do the same thing with Ronda.
Yeah, Ronda reminds me of I know this is going to be an unpopular comment, but if you follow my idea of this, Ronda reminds me of a Powerpuff Girl. You know what I mean by that?
I don't exactly know what you mean by that.
Okay. You know how Powerpuff Girls are powerful, really like resourceful. They have all these unlimited powers, but they have that sugar spice, everything nice kind of attitude. Like, happy-go-lucky, and then when shit gets down, serious face happens, and they go in and do shit. I mean,
at first she lulled, but then she's serious. Yeah, I know.
And that's Ronda. She's like, yeah.
Ronda runs into the same problem that Brock Lesnar runs into and Bobby Lashley runs into. They are these big, physically intimidating freaks of nature, but once they start talking, it's gone. It's like, lose it. Like,
Ronda's they're just... not entirely bad. She needs to stay off commentary. Like when the match is happening, she's bad at commentary.
She needs.
I like the get these hands version of hers, which is I'm taking your arm.
She needs a mouthpiece, and that's what I thought they were doing with Natalya, Mrs. Faded Saint, and I'm for that. Which, by the way, Raw, don't think we're not going to bring up the fact that you freaking changed the leg that she had injured. Yeah. Shut up.
Air quotes.
Get your fucking continuity in check. We're watching you. We're not playing anymore. New Japan is right on your heels. You got the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega doing All In this weekend. You need to get your shit in order. Your SmackDown's about to go to fucking Fox, and you're going to try and get us to do 3 hours of that shit on top of the 3 hours on Raw, on top of 205 Live and NXT, the Mae Young Classic, the UK tournament, and from what I'm hearing, possibly a tag team tournament of some kind coming up. If you're going to give us all this, you need to make sure it's premium content, not filler. But I get ahead of myself. Anyway, Baszler, unsurprisingly, really, Shayna Baszler didn't beat Nikki Cross. Booking beat Nikki Cross because she's always been booked this way. She was booked this way against Asuka. She was booked this way against Charlotte. And she was booked this way against Bayley. She was booked this way against everyone.
And this is the weakest match of the night?
Yeah. Because the next match, Aleister Black versus Lars Sullivan. Although I would argue that Lars Ulrich has made more children cry. Quick aside here to this. Friend of the show and occasional fill-in host, Veston, who I've noted in the past about 6 months ago had a daughter, a little go-go. While he was watching Takeover, said that Lars made little go-go cry, and of course, me, being the sarcastic person I immediately thought she meant Lars from Metallica. I was like, well, he's made the entire internet cry. I mean, Napster, Saint Anger. And he's like, I meant Sullivan. It's like, I still say Lars Ulrich is the biggest monster.
Still. He looks like if his picture, I'm looking at the picture right now.
I know.
Lined up.
Exactly.
And he looks like if Gene Snitsky fucked Baron Corbin.
You mean bald Corbin?
Constable Corbin. But
first of all, okay, no. Now you've done this. Now I've got to go on this tangent because now I've got to do it. Because first of all, Baron, you can make your head look like a tennis ball, but you're never going to play tennis. So you can fuck right the hell off. That's not a thing that's going to happen, son.
Don't tell me Sullivan doesn't
Number two, and then we'll get back to the match here in a second. Number two, who looked better? Constable Corbin or Corporate Kane?
Because
it's the same look, sit right down to the bald head.
No, it's Corporate Kane went shirtless with a pantsuit as his wrestling attire. At least he was like Donnybrook style for Constable Corbin, So I'm a little bit on that side of the fence.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But he still can't play tennis, and I can, so I'm fundamentally better.
And by the way,
another friend of the show,
gain some respect because isn't he now an official politician?
He is not yet mayor of Knoxville, but he is the primary Republican candidate for them.
Well, still, he is a polished Republican.
He's a polished protection. But anyway, so this match. The build-up to this entire match was, can Aleister get the Black Mass? And it was brutal. It was a lot of Lars throwing Aleister around. It was a lot of him trying to get the comeback. It was a lot of really brutal spots. And it was a little longer than I would have liked. But Aleister sold it well. Lars sold it well. I kind of expected it to go the opposite way that it did, but at the end, hitting the Black Mass, Aleister Black retained, and is still your NXT champion. And you know what?
Did that break the curse, though?
It did. The world title has now survived a face having it more than once. So, and I noted that when I saw it, I was like, oh, fair play, you got me. But Alistair retained. Like, I can't do the match justice. It was like it was a brutal, hard hitting big man match. I don't know what else to say. Like, because really, the next and last match was
Tell me about this now.
Fucking everything. Which, of course, the Chicago Street Fight, once again, supplanting the world title, Johnny fucking Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. And
only people that can get away with a legit rubber match.
And it was brutal. They went at each other with crutches. At one point, Tommaso just took the mat off of the ring. Not like the mat from around the ring, the mat off of the ring. And so where you can see like the wooden slats underneath it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and that became like the thing. Everything was going around. Like they were brawling. They were beating the shit out of each other. Like it would go one way and then one move would turn the tide until finally Johnny put Ciampa straight through a bunch of tables. And they came out, pointing out that this is what happened last year. This is what happened last year at the other Chicago Takeover. That Ciampa did the same thing to Gargano, and Gargano got stretchered out. But no, then Johnny just couldn't take it and grabbed him on the stretcher and rolled him down to the ring, handcuffed his hands behind his back, and then just beat the shit out of him, like really bad. And Ciampa's like begging and running away, and then at the last possible second, getting into that section of the ring where he had pulled up the mat and you could see the wooden slats, Johnny was getting into the ring, and Ciampa, even with his arms behind his back, gets him in that DDT position and bam, and just lays down on him with his head on him, just laughing and laughing and laughing. And your winner, who ensures that we are going to get Gargano Ciampa 3, the biggest heel in the industry right now, the man who needs no music or graphic to come out, Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah,
like I
said, these are the only people that are worth a real rubber match. Like, I don't know what to say.
That was NXT Takeover.
AKA,
and you can't, and I know you can't give it a rating,
together,
but I am going to give it a rating. Money Meltzer likes to break his system for Omega and Okada. I'm going to break my system because I am actually going to give this. I am actually going to give this a triple plus.
Okay.
Because you cannot replicate what Gargano and Ciampa have done. Like, you could tell these guys are, like, in real life, really good friends. Because there's no way they could, like, do this type of shit. And Ciampa is the next big heel. He really is.
Yeah, but only for this world. He will be fizzled out if he's brought to the main roster. It is.
If he is, it's their fault. And, Drew Galloway put it best right after this event on his Twitter. He said that everyone on the main roster should look at Takeover and be fucking ashamed because they came to play. They came to dance, and they knocked it out of the fucking park. Fucking Raw, not even close. SmackDown, back and forth, but not even in the same ballpark. If you are a person...
It's the same formula. It's the same formula WWE is known for, though. Vince McMahon, since day fucking one he took over his father's company, made it about the glitz and glamour entertainment side of this sports entertainment franchise. He never won. He granted, once in a while he got great wrestlers to make great matches, but he will still try to get the poop, fart, and midget jokes in between each one to make it happen for him, for the kids to laugh at. The reason why NXT is not doing that, the reason why NXT looks great, the reason why pre-WCW Ted, trying to take over and make it another WWE product, wrestlers used to just legit wrestle. Cards were cards. There weren't any, let's have something stupid in between as a vignette until really was televised by Vince. I mean, WCW did a little bit, but it was more about, we're going to take you guys out. And it was like foot for foot before it got into the hands of franchising it with $1 Million Ted. But
fair enough.
But in this case, Triple H, coming from that world, allowing him to run this solo, proves that product that is demanded from generations like us can exist. But it also shows how these fishes get so big in a small pond that when they think that the big fish is ready to jump into the big pool that WWE produces, that pool is the size of the Atlantic fucking Ocean. And now they're swimming in larger fish tanks with larger fish. And it sucks because Tommaso Ciampa is a big fucking fish. And unfortunately, when he goes into that Atlantic Ocean, the bigger fish, like John Cena, like everyone, like Roman goddamn why you still exist fucking Reigns.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Guys are going to literally their piss will be bigger than the fucking size of Tommaso Ciampa. So that is what
I'm on my second beer now, thanks to this. You've depressed me that much. Regardless of the fact, though, NXT TakeOver, with the exception of NXT New Orleans, is the second best pay-per-view of the year. I'm sorry, NXT New Orleans had 2 5-star matches.
Yeah.
I got to see it live. No one's going to top that. No one's going to push that one over for me.
Goddamn 6-man ladder match was just too cherry.
Absolutely. But that does bring us now to the section of the show which you can talk about. And that is, of course, Money in the Bank, which we start off with the pre-cook and the Bludgeon Brothers versus Club. Bludgeon Brothers won. I didn't see this match. I was busy.
You know what? I like I said, I had to watch it the next day. I wasn't going to watch a pre-cook knowing that literally 90% of the pre-cook is just, hey, this match is going to happen at Money in the Bank. And here's the background story. To not only to get that again anyway, when their match is before it's about to happen, the same freaking roll credit that they give in the pre-cook. So I didn't bother.
I will point this out, though. At least the SmackDown Tag Team Championship was defended.
Yeah.
So, just for those of you paying attention at home, out of all of the belts on SmackDown, out of the 4 belts, 3 were defended. Out of the 5 belts on the Raw brand that were available, 2 were defended.
Cruiserweights didn't even bother, right?
Nope, and there are Raw belts, so they count.
So we're talking about the Cruiser, the Tag, and the Universal.
Correct. The Cruiser, the Tag, and the Universal, because the women fucking run Raw. Let's be serious there.
They do. Well,
the women run Raw.
They have to. There's no point even. There really is no point to have capital gains on the men's league right now because there's no big title to go after. I'm sorry, but the United States title is
Seth Rollins is holding the shit down over there with the Intercontinental title.
The Intercontinental title, the United States title will never be
and you know what?
Bigger than the mid-card belt that needs to be.
And you know what? We don't care about this tag match. The Bludgeon Brothers won. Hooray. I love Luke Harper. I wish Club would get more respect, but you want to know what? Let's talk about this right now. Let's spend the time for this match to talk about the fact that it is a fucking embarrassment. A fucking embarrassment that Brock Lesnar is the longest champion of the modern era, because you want to know what? I could be the longest champion of the modern era if I only had to defend my title once every 4 months too. So fuck off.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You could try and pull that shit.
This is the cheapest way to exonerate CM Punk.
But you knew it was happening. You knew it was. The moment he made it past WrestleMania, it's like, well, they're gonna do this. he's not losing it until he takes down Punk, because that's the petty bullshit they do.
But that's also the mental fuck too, because they want to cut their nose off to spite their face, because they were going to give Roman the title that fucking night at WrestleMania, but they pulled the change out with the ref. So obviously, it's just because they now can, not because they wanted to.
Exactly.
But yeah, let's just get on to this crap.
Well, yeah, let's get to the next one, which is, of course, Daniel Bryan jobs Big Cass's career.
Let me ask you a question. Would this become an unofficial pink slip match that we didn't know about?
Okay, so here's how I've come to understand what has happened. So let's just get the shit out of the way. Daniel Bryan won the match with the heel hook. The match was basically Big Cass is big, Daniel Bryan is small. Yeah, he's trying to prove that small. That's
bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. But no one believed for a second that Big Cass could beat him. So apparently, a lot of stuff had led up to what eventually happened on Tuesday, and Big Cass straight up being fired. Number one. Apparently, that midget thing, that midget promo he did, he blew off going to freaking rehearse it with Kevin Dunn. Strike one. Number two, it went long. Strike two. Number three, he went off script and he beat up the midget when he was told not to. Strike three.
He was only supposed to kick him, and apparently, not only did he not agree with his producer for about because he asked his producer if he can do. To get the extra heat, beat up the actual midget besides just kicking him. And he said no. And his producer said no. And he goes, I'm going to the next guy. So he goes to a guerrilla manager and says, hey, I want to do this. And he's like, no. And then he goes, well, then if you're not going to listen, I'm going to go to the man himself. And he went to Vince. He went to fucking Vince McMahon. And he asked the same thing, and Vince said no. Apparently, there's a secret midget clause about how we can't just destructively destroy midgets. So he didn't get that freaking memo, and the worst part about it is he knew 3 different people said no to him. The main man himself said no to him. This is Vince McMahon, the man who could fire somebody because they fucking smiled on the way to him going to his death car. You're going to defy Vince McMahon? You don't think you're untouchable? You ain't John Cena. So if that's the legit story, minus the other stuff that apparently is peppered around about why he got fired, like Carmella's altercation with them the night before, or maybe his European tour when he was wasted, apparently. The biggest cross on that fucking poll is definitely going to be if you cross the boss, Vince has no problem cutting you out. He'll find ways to. He is like Stalin for WWE. Like he will erase you.
He could not do anything right. But yeah, your boy D-Bry over Big Cass. And that was just it. And then we come to the match that I almost fucking forgot about. And that was freaking Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn.
That was a thing.
It was a thing. It happened. Bobby Lashley won to the surprise of no one. But I would just like to point out that he beat Sami with 2 torn rotator cuffs. So you're a big man there, Bobby. You also flubbed all of your lines on Raw on Monday, so fuck off.
And he also killed off Sami Zayn. He is now on the shelf.
Yeah, like I said,
he's on the shelf.
He beat Sami with 2 torn rotator cuffs, which is going to have him out.
But Sami's
till 2019. Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Like he had surgery earlier today.
Yeah.
And like rotator cuff surgery is no small thing.
And so I felt like this was a Goldberg match. This was a Ryback Goldberg match. Couple of those hanging suplexes, and then the dick move of the century. And I know he's a face, so as a face, this is still the dickest move you can do. Palms the victory. He puts his hand on a single hand on the chest of Sami goddamn Zayn and 1-2-3s him. You know who that's reserved for? That's reserved for heels and jobbers. Jobbers get the boot or the palm when they lose the match, not somebody like Sami fucking Zayn.
You know, but I will say in his defense, shit like that normally doesn't, because Sami has a reputation for being meticulous about that. And I'm pretty sure Sami knew whatever was going on was going to put him out. And Sami, being the consummate professional that he is, I am willing to bet probably said, if I'm going to go out for a few months, you know what? I want to make you look as good as possible. Because that's how you keep your job. I could be wrong there, but
what made Bobby Lashley look good out of that?
Well, Sammy sold for him a good deal. Like the match was predictable, but
poorly produced, and he pulls off a palm victory. No, this is bad shit.
You know what? We both equally hate this match. So let's talk about something that we do like, which is the next match.
Okay.
Which was the Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins versus Mr. WWE Walk with Elias himself.
I have to give Elias a lot of credit. He has produced a great following in the last year.
He is just white fucking hot. Like, really, he can almost do no wrong. I'm going
to put myself on the limb here and make an unpopular comment by saying because of Brock Lesnar's unobtainability and absence, he has created a firestorm in the mid-card section.
He has.
Everyone, people like Roman, fuck you, why you exist, god damn it, Reigns,
we're coming to that. So
is on the top echelon of the whole big push by Vince McMahon puppy dog level shit. So Roman, goddamn fuck you, why you still goddamn here, Reigns, is up on the top levels, like with John, goddamn why you still here, James damn it Cena. They're up there doing whatever they want to try to do things, but you got this mid card brewing.
Is he? Because John Cena hasn't won a match since SummerSlam last year.
So is Roman. Roman's hasn't been doing too good because they're trying to downplay him so that way people will be like, stop. Because they think we're all saying he's always winning. No, we're saying a lot more about Roman, goddamn, why the fuck you still here, fucking Jesus Christ Reigns. It's not the case. But besides that, I'm talking about while that's happening, all those people up there. So once in a while, Rollins might pop his head up, Balor might pop his head up, but the real storm has been brewing in the mid area. We're talking about like Kevin Owens. We're talking about Braun Strowman. We're talking about like fucking Rollins. We're talking about Elias. We're talking about people like even Samoa Joe.
Senor Joe!
They are not getting the world title anytime soon, but they're making the best out of it in the middle. Really good shit. Even Ziggler and frickin' Mr. Irishman, wherever the hell, Mr. Scott, whatever, Mr. Irishman.
Sheamus.
That's not even Sheamus. That's Sheamus and Cesaro. I'm talking about
Galloway.
Yeah, Drew Galloway.
I'm sorry, McIntyre.
Oh, you're right. Oop, we cross-branded here, but yeah, in this case, Drew McIntyre. They're showing some of their struts, and of course, Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank proved anything better than that. But in this case, man, everything was just going ham for the mid card, and this match was a expectation of that brewing popping up hard. The fizz was delicious. The match itself was probably the best match of the night, and that says a lot because it was pretty good matches in general all around Money in the Bank. Because I'll give Money in the Bank its credits due. I thought this pay-per-view was a great improvement since Backlash. So when you look at this match where Rollins is fighting for his championship belt, Elias not coming in as this chicken shit heel. He came in with a good strategy because he was doing that strategy the whole time. It was well produced before this match happened. This was a match worth watching. It was a match that goes, okay, I'm looking forward to having this happen because it was well produced across the Raw brand for the last few weeks. And it delivered. I thought this match was great.
Absolutely. I would say that it's the third best match of the night behind the two Money in the Bank matches.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I depending on the day, I flip it with another match, but we'll get to that in a second. But eventually, Rollins won so that he could lose the title the next match to Dolph Ziggler. And they're kind of hinting at it this week. Next week is going to be the rematch. Champion Ziggler with McIntyre versus Rollins with more likely than not Dean Ambrose.
Let's hope so. Let's hope that creates a tag team flow out between both of them. That would be a nice way to have Dean come back.
Oh, Dean's going to turn on him, and we're going to get a Seth and Dean feud. And we're going to actually get to see heel Ambrose.
So. All right. Well, better than anything. He's got a lot of vendetta right now with the whole everyone's shelving but them.
Yeah, totally.
See, like, how Rollins was a heel before he lost his legs, and then he came back as a face, and then he became back a heelish face, and then whatever the hell he is now. But in this case, I think that this was a good palette for the fact that, all right, now we got the crowd going. Let's push one of the first Money in the Bank matches, and that's what happened next. We have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and I have to say, despite who won, which is why I understand she won, this is probably the first time I would say it's pretty humble of them to have great big people in this match, like Charlotte, coming into this match, and then you would think like someone like Charlotte or Sasha or somebody going, I'm gonna win this, and it wasn't the case. It was Alexa. Yeah,
it was. I mean, they really tried to tease hard at the end there that Lana was gonna win it. Charlotte, by the way, for those of you guys who don't know, she's out till SummerSlam.
Oof, that shoulder.
And that's fine. She needs her rest. I would like to say that like Natty would get it, or they would give it to Becky, because I really want to see Becky get back into it. I'm really kind of done with Sasha.
Sasha herself or the Sasha Bailey thing?
Both. Either. Pick one.
Because I always loved the Boss.
We've got so many other great women. I would have loved to have just seen, because this feels, with the exception of like Ember Moon, this feels like last year's Money in the Bank. Like you add Alexa to it, and Alexa and Charlotte to it, and this is almost exactly the women's Money in the Bank match from last year,
minus the chicken shit bullshit.
Yeah, Tamina isn't there and isn't in it, but I mean, like, with a couple of additions, they're the same fucking match.
I don't know. That's kind of a stretch, because this match went a whole different direction.
No. I mean, participant-wise.
Not really, because, like I said, there's Charlotte now. There's Alexa, Ember Moon.
But you could have had like.
You wanted a complete change out. You wanted
not a complete change out. Not a complete change out, but you could have had any member of the Riot Squad qualify. You could have had Bayley qualify, who wasn't in it last year because it was a SmackDown only. You could have had any member of Absolution. Are they still a thing? You could have had like fucking one of the Iconics.
She said it was dead.
Yeah, but are they?
I haven't writing out the lesbian. I'm not sure. I forgot.
I haven't been watching like SmackDown, so I don't know. But like the Iconics, I know are there. You could have had them in the match as well. But no. Becky, all right, you check that box. Naomi, all right, you check that box. All right, Mrs. Faded Saint, you check that box. Lana, because she's Lana. Mrs. Rusev, you check that box. So, hi, Lana. Sasha, all right. Charlotte, yeah, that's an automatic. Alexa, okay, that's an automatic. Yeah, let's get a new person in there. Let's get Ember Moon in there.
Still a great match.
It was a great match, but I hate to say it. With the exception of Ember Moon, this is the same 7 women who have been dominating the division for the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, am I wrong?
Nope, but I think it's still the fact that Raw still dominates the women's division right now, and I think that this match was. I mean, let's face it. This match was just a lineup match. This had nothing to do with how great the matches were.
But also, Raw dominates the women's division because of one person. Because the rest of the Raw division is shit. There's actually three people who are important. You have 2 subpar players, and everyone else gets forgotten. Which is the only important people in the Raw division is in the women's division on Raw side is Ronda Rousey, Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax. And then you have Sasha and Bayley, who've been doing whatever the fuck they've been doing for the last year.
This weird.
And then everyone else is just kind of lost.
Yeah, but still, there's a lot better names. I mean, right now, off the top of my head, I can only think of Charlotte Flair. And
SmackDown deserved better, is what I'm saying.
Yes, well, that's the thing. It's 2 people that come off the top of my head anytime I think of SmackDown's women's division. That's Charlotte and Asuka. Everyone else is like, oh, they're there.
Wow.
Even Carmella is, oh, she's there. And she's the fucking women's champion. But like I said, this is all
better. But
this match, what sucks is I knew Alexa was going to win because I knew the only way they're going to freaking make Nia Jax versus Ronda towards this even remotely untouchable was having some sort of win.
I was optimistic that they weren't going to go in this direction.
They had to.
But you're right. They had to. But we'll get to that in a second because before we get to any of that, we've got to talk about the worst match of the night, the worst match of the weekend, and that is Roman Reigns versus Jobber My Hell. Roman Reigns win. That's all we got to say. That's it. We have done our contractual obligation. Actually, no. Let's. I'm going to say one thing about this. If there was anything that just summed up why I hated wrestling in 2017, it's these two motherfuckers right here.
Why are we talking about Roman? Goddamn, why the fuck are you still there? Why do you even exist, Reigns?
And they need to give up on the Roman experiment. They've ruined it. It's their fault.
He is forever and ever will never be normal named. Every time I'm going to say his name, he's going to have that segue middle every time. So goddamn it, Roman, goddamn, why are you still there? I don't understand why the fuck you're still here. Reigns. Every time he wins a goddamn match, even against Jinder Mahal, Roman, why the fuck you still goddamn
here? They're still pushing him down our fucking throat.
That was on Raw. He was on Raw trying to get his bitch title back because he unofficially won that match against Brock Lesnar. They had him beat fucking... Why even exist? Reigns was even in that goddamn match to begin with. We need to end Roman. Why the fuck are you still here? I don't even know why you exist. Damn it, Reigns every time. Because goddamn it, Roman, why the fuck you still exist? Why are you even here? Reigns is even part of the whole equation. He needs to be put. He needs to have. You know what? I know this is gonna sound so fucked up, and I know that this is probably the worst thing to say about somebody. But he needs to follow the rest of the Shield and get an injury. He needs to go away for a bit. He needs to have something like what Seth happened or have something like Dean happen. He needs to not exist for a while. This only way you're going to heal Roman, why the fuck are you still here, get a goddamn injury, Reigns, is to get him completely off the radar.
They're not going to do it. They fed Samoa Joe to him at Backlash, which was the fucking breaking point for me. And then I don't really care about Jinder. I don't. But he won this match and he shouldn't have. They need to bust his ass down to 205 Live or something. I don't know.
You know who won that match to me? Sadig. The wheelchair won me over.
Do you know who really won that match? Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I guess so.
But let's get off of that and let's talk about the SmackDown Women's Title match. Carmella versus the Empress of Tomorrow. Nobody's ready for Asuka.
Everyone's ready for Asuka now. Everyone's ready for Asuka.
They ruined it. They pulled the trigger way too soon on it.
Everyone's ready.
No, and everyone's ready.
Charlotte broke her, and that was it. The rest was just down the battle. You know what's so funny is that apparently a kick to the face at a proper time frame, apparently Asuka loses to that. Because I sort of... This is what I hate about the WWE, is they love to believe that nobody remembers shit. Because, god damn it, she had a Falls Count Anywhere match. No, last man women's standing match with Cross in NXT. That bitch took so much damage and still lasted. But a kick to the face, I'm out. Got me for 3 seconds.
You have to admit, though, and not a lot of people are happy about it, but I am. James Ellsworth is back.
Did anyone see how terrible he messed up the whole wink?
No, I am sure that was deliberate. That was just so cheesy because he did it again on SmackDown.
Yeah, but he double winked. He didn't do a single wink and nah. He was like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, but you know what? That was well received, though. That was probably the highlight of the match. It was the fact that James Ellsworth came back for Carmella. I don't even know why he left. I don't even know why they released him. I don't even know what's going on.
They didn't have anything for him. And you know what? I can understand that, but they brought him back at a perfect time. And he can help Carmella and her championship because he serves the function of being basically the reverse valet.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. Like he laid it out. Like he's back to serve Carmella. He's back to helping her, and she can be a chicken shit champion. And he is absolutely, and he doesn't get enough credit for this. He is secure enough to let the entire SmackDown Women's Division beat the shit out of him in his last match in the company.
This is true.
He
also did that. He did that. He even took Asuka right in the fucking face on SmackDown the next week, the next SmackDown after Money in the Bank. Like he definitely has the comfort to know that he knows his place in these events, and that I'll give him. But man, I'm still burned on the fact that Asuka came from this immortalizing year of literally taking every goddamn bump you could possibly can. But all of a sudden, Ellsworth comes back. First of all, what was Asuka thinking? That some doppelganger existed? Like there was a long lost sister?
I think it was kind of like we mentioned Vader at the beginning of the broadcast, and he used to have like the thing, which had like the thing. The whole gimmick in Japan was that thing was alive, and that it was had a symbiotic relationship with him. Yeah, like I've come to understand that the robe and the mask is the same thing, kind of. So she thought it had come to life to betray her or something like that. I don't know. It gets weird when you start getting Japanese culture in there.
Well, I can tell you this much: when you don't express that, to the regular person that watches the show, to me it looked like there was another Vince gimmick where it's like, oh, there's another Asuka. What do I do? And she's like, turn around, smack. I lose. That's literally what happened. But you know what? I have to say, I am so glad that wasn't the last match of the night.
Nope.
And you know what? I'm glad that the Money in the Bank's men's match was the last match of the night. But I sure for shit wasn't expecting a great match coming up after, which is this one coming up now, which is AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a last man standing match. And this was the best revenge fuck match I've ever seen in a while. Like, this was like right up there with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens on the whole, God fucking damn it, I hate you so much, you need to die.
My point is that this kind of feels like that Vince is never going to see Shinsuke as a champion.
Well, that's irrelevant, man. I get it.
Is it?
This match was not meant for him to win. This match was meant.
Some match should have been meant for him to win at this point. I mean, I'll admit, I'll tell you straight up that this was
punching. The moment they gave him the ball punching gimmick is there's the moment I realized he's never going to be champion during this whole feud between him and AJ Styles, unless he goes full heel, gets a couple of people, fucks him over in a match, then wins. That's the only way I can see Shinsuke Nakamura being a champion. He's not going to be nowhere near NXT's Flavor Saver.
I just don't fucking understand it. Like, this was by far the better matches out of all of them, but the WrestleMania match was disappointing. The match at Backlash was yet another reason why fuck Backlash, with the whole double count out with the double ball kicks.
Yeah. I don't know. The WrestleMania one wasn't bad. I liked it a lot. It was just that the ending was like, you know what? Screw you. Butt kick. Nut balls. That's it. Bing bong. Done. But the match itself was very good. The best part, of course, was the very ending when Shinsuke literally got his ass handed to him with a flying elbow right into the tables. That was a sweet cherry. The whole match was all about literally revenge fuck. It was like, I hate you so much.
It was by far their best match in the WWE. It's not the best match they've ever had, though. But I'll take it.
We're not talking about, obviously, Wrestle Kingdom now. But, that That is still, I'll give you that. WWE wise, this was one of their best matches.
Mm-hmm.
I'd bang it. But
Yeah, but that wasn't
the most surprising match for me though. The next one was.
Of course, you mean Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax?
Yeah.
What was surprising about it?
The fact that it wasn't a snuff fest. Like, you know how when Steven McMahon did a pretty good job keeping up with Ronda, but it was still Ronda being Ronda. This match was fuck. Ronda might actually not do too well because she was getting floored. And this is the first time I really see Nia Jax really use her body strength against someone in a way that makes it look like it's this was a true, I would say, David versus Goliath kind of situation. Because Ronda is pretty powerful. And Ronda, if she gets her hooks onto something, she has a good chance of really fucking that person up. But if that window of opportunity doesn't happen, I could see her getting bludgeoned to oblivion because Nia Jax did a great job showing how strength and power from a woman's perspective was all there. I mean, we're talking about throwing her into the corner turnbuckles. We're talking about bear hugs that looked like it was hard for her to even try to get out of. It was like all around damaging for Ronda to show that she could just armbar her way out of winning, like Shayna does.
Well, and then we came also to the problem with the match. The moment they announced this match, everyone just kind of went, what? Are you really going to blow this now?
Are you going to really? The weak sauce was the fact that it was done over some weird runway for a show. And they're like, I have an obligatory match I have to have, and I wanted to give it to you, Ronda Rousey. And she's like, at least Ronda was at least decent enough to say, I don't deserve it. There's other women there. That's great. I still want you. And she's like, fine. Hey, look, it's someone else that's part of the WWE roster is going to join us right now. And we're going to have a laugh about how we did all this stuff to do this match. But you know what? Bad producing, great match. Still to me.
But, unfortunately, it's like you said, the ending of this match was pretty predictable because there was no way they were going to fucking hand that title to her.
The moment they did this, they're building up Nia Jax as a powerhouse, and if they let Nia beat Ronda, then Ronda's gone. And if Ronda beat Nia, then they lose the powerhouse angle. So the only real way is to snuff and cheat.
And that's exactly what happened because Alexa Bliss shows up with the Money in the Bank briefcase, beats the shit out of everyone, and then after beating the crap out of everyone in the briefcase, cashes it in. And your new Raw Universal Champion.
Women's Universal Champion.
Raw's Universal Champion. Alexa Bliss. Brock can be the men's Universal Champion. There's only one Universal Champion, and that's whoever's holding that red belt on the women's side. Because they're showing up every week.
Yeah, Alexa still had the best writing in the world. How come I have to defend my title at Elimination Chamber while Brock has a number one contendership match going for his?
And I don't know what writer thought that was gonna play as her whining.
Yeah. But
clearly Vince needs to retire. And they need to get rid of these things and they need to hand this over to Trips. Because Trips has turned around 205 Live. Trips as NXT as the number one brand. They just fucking announced like NXT UK.
Yeah. They announced so much shit over the last few days. It's ridiculous.
And so, I mean, they just need to stop. But, I mean, your winner, even though she wasn't even in the match, Alexa Bliss.
Won twice
in one night.
Yep. She Dean Ambrose her way into the championship.
She did. But that brings us to the final match of the night, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Samoa Joe versus Kevin Owens versus Bobby Roode versus Braun versus The Miz versus Rusev versus Finn Balor versus what turned out to be Kofi Kingston of the New Day. I'm not sure how to explain this match, but this match was basically keep Braun Strowman down with spots of everyone being awesome between, and then trying to keep Braun Strowman down.
That's every time when Braun Strowman's in a group match. They happen in Elimination Chamber too. They literally went all out on him to get him out of the way. But that didn't matter, folks, because my Braun and Savior, do not take these hands in vain, O Lord, Braun and Savior. Do not take these hands in vain. That man schooled the shit out of the entire roster that night. The matches were great. The whole match itself was colorful all the way through. Great match in general. Finn had his good moments. Coffee had a great spot. They were all around. And the MVP of the are you still breathing in the night goes to Kevin Owens.
Yes. So, did you see his tweets after Money in the Bank where he was tweeting of all people Shania Twain
about
directly requesting a specific song at a concert he was going to go to because he had been thrown off a ladder through a table and his best friend, he doesn't know when he's coming back, and it's just been such a horrible week for him.
It's hilarious. He's dry humor.
And I mean, like, this match was much better than I thought it was going to be. And my props, once again, to your Lord and Savior, Braun Strowman. He was much better than
Braun
any...
and Savior, not Lord and Savior. That's a different man. Braun and Savior.
You're Monster and Savior.
Braun and Savior, damn it.
You're Braun and Savior, Braun Strowman. Because he was better than any big man had any business being in this type of match. Like, he was all over the place, man.
Yeah, he has the dance card of the night.
How does... If Braun does not have the title by the end of SummerSlam, then, you just might as well give up on Raw. If Brock holds the title through SummerSlam, I'm probably going to stop watching Raw altogether.
This belt needs to not exist on him anymore. I'll give you that.
We were joking about it today, weren't we?
I think we were, because of the fact that you sent an image to me that looked like a legit WWE thing, where it said breaking news. It had the WWE Twitter handle on it, saying that WWE has parted ways with the Universal title. No, they struck a deal about parting ways with the title, and I asked, the first response to you was, does that mean Brock gave the title back, or did they give Brock the title to keep forever and they'll just move on with something else? Like, by the way, was that in Doctor?
It was Doctor. It was Doctor. It was a joke. Okay. It was absolutely a joke. You had me guessing there for a second.
Because it would look legit for a hot minute, I checked all the breaking news ever since then.
Because we wanted it to be legit. We wanted it to be legit so bad.
And it's so weird because I came into a article that we wish will happen, but apparently there has been a leak in the new WWE news about Brock not winning at SummerSlam, and actually the person who's going to take that title from him was apparently Seth Rollins. Now, we don't know if that's true or not, but we can wish to dream, because it better not be Roman. Goddamn, why the fuck are you still here? Get a fucking injury, Reigns. It better not be him. And Braun better do so. I really don't want Braun to cash in that belt. There's only one way I want Braun to cash in that case, if it's still Brock Lesnar. And this is my idea. This is writing on the wall. So WWE, either I ruined this story for you, or you're going to pay me for giving you the best angle I could possibly think of for Brock to Brock to lose the title to Braun with a case tag in. And that is, the whole Raw roster is fucking fed up. We're talking about all the, because it's not like they haven't said things here and there. The Miz has well documented how he when he was Intercontinental Champion, is the face that operates the main belt that exists. He even expressed how Brock was not around, so this is the belt that matters. Alexa has said shit. Other people have joked around. Roman, goddamn, why the fuck you still here? Get a fucking injury. Reigns even had a good point about why does Brock Lesnar even matter. He doesn't do anything. He's not here. He's a chicken shit. All that kind of stuff. He said all these things. So my angle is that they get so fed up that one time when Paul Heyman and Brock are on Raw, the entire roster walks out on him like SmackDown did when they did the Survivor Series thing. They walk to the ring, and Brock fights against the entire roster. And the roster turns out to be in their favor. We're talking about Brock has a good moment where he's tearing down the house. But eventually, the masses overpower the one man, and they destroy him. They break him down. And we're talking about a muster of cloud of like beating people up. Just Brock Lesnar laying out on the ground. And then for a split moment when they know for a fact that Brock is done, he's out like a light, no way to do anything about it, they just slowly part like a sea where they leave a heavenly hallway. And behind that crowd of masses is Braun Strowman with that briefcase. And he just gently walks down, hands it to the ref, and just takes him for 1, 2, 3. And then everyone celebrates that the title is back on Raw. And that's the only real way I can enjoy the idea that he has this case. Because if they're going to cheapen, they're going to whore out this bullshit that is Brock Lesnar's reign by having him do whatever he needs to do at SummerSlam and then pull the malarkey move with the Money in the Bank case, like Alexa did with Nia and Ronda, only further infuriates the whole point of why it even matter, why give a shit about the Universal title.
My thing is that if in my perfect world, they kind of pull like an old school WCW, where you have like Kurt Angle walk out and it's like, you know what, Brock, keep the title. That is now the commemorative Brock Lesnar Universal title. Congratulations. Good for you. Yours forever. Don't worry about it. And then he just pulls out the big gold belt. Now this is a belt worth fighting for. And now we're going to have a tournament so that we can determine a real champion.
That'd be badass.
And then just take it from there. Like, you can take it in so many directions. But, I mean, at this point, your Universal belt, and this has always been my problem with it, is that the Universal title is just a brand new title. It has 4 previous people who have had
very, very little history right now.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 previous people who have had it.
KO,
Goldberg, and Brock. And that's it. Your belt is 3 years old, and it's barely fucking defended. But I don't know why you're surprised, because when Brock had the main title, it was barely defended then, too. So what the fuck do you think? You need to get your shit together. And, people are like, oh, well, Okada only defended his title 14 times in 700 days. And it's like, yeah, but that's a different culture. That's not this culture. And this culture, and also, Okada was still in other matches. Yeah, Okada was in other matches. So it's not like Okada, it's not the defense part. But the fact of the matter is that he says that he's a champion, he's a fighting champion, but he only shows up. It's not even that if he showed up and he was in other matches, that'd be one thing. But he doesn't want to show up. And that's what it is. I really kind of feel like that at this point he's kind of done the damage. Like, the Universal title will never be as good as the world title. When you've got an AJ Styles turning out great matches against everyone, including you, who can't fucking defend your title more than 4 times a year, then, you're kind of done. But that was Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Letter grade?
Oh, well, I still was starstruck. I'm going to give this a flat, regular A.
B.
Okay.
B. There was enough here to annoy me to not give it top marks, and NXT Takeover was clearly a superior model, but just because I gave it like I gave it like a triple A plus, doesn't mean that you get that you Money in the Bank get off by proxy.
You know what? I'll give it an A minus, just below the A, a little medium between.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, A minus. You know, and the reason why I'm only saying A minus is because the fact that Roman, why the fuck you still here? Goddamn it, get an injury. Reigns was involved, and he's the reason for a whole full grade decretion. Just that.
I agree.
And the fact that there was a secret pink slip match didn't help either.
I don't know, man. I don't know what could have been done. I don't know. It sounds like Cass's bad attitude got him in the way. Between breaking doors, bathroom doors on tour buses, accosting Vic Joseph, who likes to hang out with Carmella. Blowing off like fucking Kevin Dunn, who's been with the company since almost the very beginning.
Project Overbite.
Exactly, Bucky fucking Beaver. But, like, I get that you are miserable. Ask for your release if you're that miserable. Because if you ask for your release, at least there's a chance you can come back. Like, I don't see any way we're going to see this dude again. Like, he's going to go to Impact, and that's going to be that. Yeah. Like, the problem
and apparently he even burned his bridge with Enzo, so that didn't work. That didn't work out for him either. So
I like to think that Enzo burned his bridge with him, because Enzo is a huge douche.
Yeah.
And
you know what? Desperation usually causes sympathy, so who knows? Maybe the tall one will meet up with the real one and do something stupid once again.
Probably not.
We'll see.
But that brings us into the end of the show. Mm-hmm. And again, I know we didn't have like a break like we normally have when we have these longer shows, but I couldn't find one that I liked. And if I'm honest, there's some stupidity going on YouTube that I didn't want to deal with, so we just rolled straight through it. But the next event coming up is Extreme Rules, and we will try and be as timely as we were here. I'm thankfully over my burnout a little bit, so hopefully that'll be a little bit better.
Do you think, before we end the show real quick, here's an interesting question that just popped in my head. Do you think they did the whole byproduct pay-per-views so that way Raw doesn't have no world title matches on their own specific brand pay-per-views?
Possibly.
You ever think that? Like, AJ's doing double the work now, knowing that he's the only one who has to defend his world title almost every pay-per-view.
Well, the problem is that they're still treating SmackDown like the fucking bitch show, but the SmackDown is the one that's providing all of the sizzle.
They do win a lot of the, like, I vividly watch Wrestling with Regret a lot because I enjoy the commentary that comes from Brian Zane, and almost most of the time when he does his Who Wore It Better, SmackDown generally tends to win the more of those victories. Even though Raw has its good kicks and heels, SmackDown has the better proprietary. And it's not because it's a 2 hour versus 3 hour, because let's face it, SmackDown could bomb for 2 hours just as badly as Raw could bomb for 3.
SmackDown's going to be 3 hours once it moves to Fox.
Yep, so we're going to find out right then and there how it works out. But yeah, I think this is a good way to round it out. Let's hope that Brock Lesnar loses his title at SummerSlam or earlier if we do.
Because we're getting another number one contenders match at the fucking
it better be not goddamn Roman. Goddamn, why are you still here? Get goddamn injury Reigns.
It's gonna be so that they can sit there and make us think that stupid shit's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and then Braun's gonna cash in on him, and he's gonna win.
But you know what? If Seth Rollins is in this number one contendership match, and
I saw that rumor.
If he wins that match at Extreme Rules, then we might have full fruition.
Maybe. You see, I think if they weren't going to job Brock to Roman, they're not going to job him to Seth.
Let's see. All right.
With that said, we would like to go ahead and we would like to thank Meat Chet for our closing theme that you're going to hear here in a little bit. Picnic and Reactor. We would also like to thank All Arounda for our opening theme, Destruction. We will see you for Extreme Rules, which will be a shorter podcast than this one. And I am your boy, Kami the Faded Saint. That is my boy, Kami Kane. That is my boy, Kane Super What Snuka Sane. We will see you on the next podcast.
Later, folks.